Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, and thanks for tuning in to another how to install video. In today's video, I will be covering how to install the latest version of MOS, which is a submod for Third Age Total War. And for those of you that remember, I made a tutorial video on this mod quite some time ago, but I was recently made aware that there is a new update, so I will be covering the newest update in this video. But a couple of things to note before we do begin. As I said, this is a submod for Third Age Total War, and that means that you need to have Third Age already installed before attempting to install MOS. Also, the newest version of Third Age, version 4.0, is not compatible with this mod. It is not compatible. You need to have the 3.2 version of Third Age to install MOS. If you don't have Third Age already installed, I will leave a link to that tutorial video in the description, so go ahead and watch that, get Third Age 3.2 installed, and then come back to watch this video because it is required for the MOS to work. And also, you guys probably know this by now, but if you don't, you do need to have Medieval 2 Total War with the Kingdoms DLC. If you don't have the DLC, the mod will not work. But for those of you who are Steam users, the Definitive Edition includes the DLC, so that will work fine. Alright, let's go ahead and dive into the installation. So we're just going to go to moddb.com here. And in the search bar, we can just start typing in Massive Overhaul Submod. That's what MOS stands for, and it's the first one at the top. And then go over to the Files tab. And then down here, we're going to start installing these two files here. You can see that they just dropped on August 7th, so we've got an installer part 1 and an installer part 2. So we'll go ahead and open them up. And the reason that it's split into two files is just because of the upload constraints. It's a pretty large mod. You can see that the first one is 1.7 gigabytes, and the second one is 1.58 gigabytes. So they are quite large. So just go ahead and click Download Now on each of the files. And you should see it start to pop up in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, and it shouldn't take too long to download. Well, it depends actually on your internet speed, how long that will take to download. But if it's going to take quite some time, you can always just pause the video here and then move on afterwards. But yeah, once that is finished, you can just close these ads. So I'm just going to make a quick cut here while this is downloading, and we'll come back once everything is finished. Alright guys, once you have the two mods downloaded, I just want you to keep this open for one more second while we just navigate over to your downloads folder. And I just want you to hover over the part 1 and part 2 and just make sure that the file sizes are the same. So part 1 is 1.69, so pretty close to 1.7 gigabytes, which is perfect, so we can close that one. And then for the second one, it's supposed to be 1.58, and you can see that it's 1.57. So that is very, very close and acceptable. But if this was like 1.25 or something like that, chances are you had an internet interruption while you were downloading it, and I wouldn't go any further. I would just delete it and then reinstall it re-download it, because you need to have the files in their entirety. But once that's done, you can go ahead and just close that out, because we won't need ModDB anymore. And then these two are installers, so you actually don't require WinRAR, WinZip, 7-Zip, any kind of extraction software for it to work. You just have to double click on it, and it's going to bring up a window, and it's actually going to install the mod for you, which is very, very nice. If this pops up for Windows 10 users as well, it's just the PC is detecting that it's a bizarre file. You can just go ahead and click Run anyway. And here is the installer. So you just have to click Next here. Next. Agree with the terms and conditions, next, and then this actually populates on its own, so it should actually find your Medieval 2 directory. If not, I will put some annotations, or I'll have it up on the bottom of the screen here, what the pathway is for you guys. But this mod is interesting in the fact that usually you would actually put mods after this. So let me just give you an example, and that's why I kind of have this open, because I want to show you exactly what happens here. So usually when we install this, we don't stop at Medieval 2 Total War. We actually go Medieval 2 Total War and then click on Mods, and then it should install in the Mods folder. But watch what happens over here when you actually do that and you hit Next. Did you see this mods folder that popped up? So it actually duplicated the mods folder, and then it's actually installing it over here. That is incorrect. We don't want that to happen. It's installing it in the wrong spot. So it's not like other mods that we have to have that mods folder at the end. It actually must have some kind of coding that tells it to do mods and then Third Age 3 afterwards. So just leave it as this. Don't have the mods at the end, or it's going to populate in the wrong spot. So now once we hit next and then hit start, you can see no weird folders pop up, and that's because it's going directly into our Third Age 3 folder, and that's where we need it to go. Because as I said, guys, remember that Third Age Total War is the base for this game. The Massive Overhaul Submod is just built on top of that. So that's why you need to have this downloaded already, because all these files are being added into the Third Age 3 folder. So this is going to take a little bit of time, so I'm going to make another little cut here, and we'll bring it back once it's almost complete. Alright guys, just about finishing up part 1 of the MOS installation, and as soon as it completes, it will run this file verification. So just allow this to run. You can see that there's 4,179 files, so it basically just checks every single file to make sure that they were installed properly. And I did forget to mention, guys, that at 47% on the installer, it freezes on the events tab, or on the events file, so just let that sit. It almost looks like it crashes, or if you went into Task Manager, it would probably say not responding, but just leave it. I think it took about 10 seconds or so, and then it finally started moving on to 48 and so on and so forth. So don't freak out if you think that it's crashing. Like, don't cancel it and try it again, because it does it every single time. I tested it. It just freezes while it loads the events, and I think that's because there's just so many different events in this mod. But I'm going to make another tiny cut here, because we don't want to sit here for too long while it's verifying 4,000 files, so I'll see you in a bit. Just finishing up the file verification here. And all files okay, perfect. So once that happens, if all your files are okay, you can just go ahead and click X, and then next on the installer and exit. But we're not quite done. That was only part 1, so don't forget we still have part 2 of 2 that we have to install. So let's go ahead and double click on that. And same thing, just run anyways. And then that brings up the installer, so we'll hit next, next, same process as before, next, and then it should auto-populate once again, next, and start. And this is fine. It should say this. 1 or more files are write protected. Do you want to overwrite them anyway? I think the reason for this is because some of the Third Age files are set to read only. So this just this is what the write protected means. So we're basically just overwriting those README files. So that's why that pops up. So just hit yes. And now we start the game again with the download. So let's just make sure this starts here, because I don't remember it. Did it freeze here before? Yes, it looks like it did. Okay, so that's good that I have that running. Let's just make sure we get a couple percents in, and then I'll make another cut. But yeah, sometimes people do freak out when the installer seems to be locked up like that, but it's actually quite common. It happens in a lot of Medieval 2 mods, and I think that they just get frustrated with it and they close it out, or they cancel, or they just end task in the task manager, and they don't give it a chance to actually load some of these files, because the files can be quite large. But it looks like it's doing just fine, so let's make another cut. Just finishing up with the part 2 of 2 installation process, and we should see that file verification running again right after this is done. And there we go. And this one is even more extensive. You could, I think the first one was 4,000 files. This is 17,996 files. So this will take a bit of time as well, but I'm just going to let this run and make sure that we don't have any errors in the files for the part 2 of 2. And there we go. All files are okay. So we can go ahead and close the file manager or file verification here, and then hit, I'm just going to deselect that for now, but if you did hit next, it would launch the mod for you. You can see it actually put a nice desktop shortcut for you as well. Let's just hit next and exit, and then we can close everything out, and I'm going to switch over my recording software, and let's jump into MOS and see what it's like. Alright guys, welcome to the Massive Overhaul Submod for Third Age Total War. Let's go ahead and jump into a campaign just to prove that it works. For those of you that do watch my how to install videos, you'll know that I always just like to jump in, do a couple of end turns, and also initiate a battle just to show you that there are no crashes and that it works absolutely fine. And a little tidbit before I actually jump into this campaign, I have played a little bit in this mod, and I remember from the old Massive Overhaul Submod it was incredibly unstable, but this one seems to be pretty good. I think I got up to turn 50 with Isengard, and I didn't have any crashes whatsoever, so it seems to be a lot more stable of a mod. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump in as Isengard. And here we go. So there are a ton of different scripts and events that you can activate or deactivate in this campaign, and I'll let you read them all on your own time, but I'm just going to go ahead and select accept to all of them, because that way we know that all of them actually work. So let's just hit accept here. And then there's a couple of events with some cutscenes, so I'm going to just get rid of that one because it's got some copyright music on it. But as Isengard, we should be able to just push over to the Foldberg. So let's grab a couple of rams there, and let's not have them sally out. I want to push all of my troops over there and then initiate the battle myself. And let's just build some roads and recruit some troops and retrain. Send Grima Wartongue over here, and let's end the turn. And the reason I didn't initiate a sally out, or I didn't want them to sally out, is because I just wanted to show you that we could get through the full end turn without it crashing there. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Nope, we don't want to hear any of that. No copyright videos in this video, please. So we'll just send him over here, see if there's anything else. Doesn't look like there is. Can everybody else reach in time? Doesn't look like they can. So let's just go ahead and attack with what we have. And we've got Gamling over there versus Lord Lurtz. Let's go ahead and jump in, and we'll fight the night battle as well. Why not? Look at this guy here. he looks like he's having a good time. These two not so much, but he was loving it. And there we go. We have loaded in successfully. Everything seems to be working properly. Got we could actually just drop that ram there. Put these guys here. Got our two archers at the front. Ram over there. And I'm not going to play this out, but you can see that it's very smooth. Everything seems to be working. And that is pretty much everything, guys. So hopefully you did enjoy this how to install video, and I hope that it helped you to install the Massive Overhaul Submod for yourself. I hope you do enjoy it. If you do have any issues, let me know down in the comments below, and I will try and help you out as quickly and as efficiently as I can. But until the next one, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this in the future. And as always, I will see you in the next one.